everybody, George Anthony here again from Brainstorm Fitness. Today I have a question for you, and that is there an activity that you used to perform that you can no longer do? Now, if you do have an activity that you used to enjoy a lot that you no longer do, what's the reason behind you not being able to do it anymore? Whether it's physical, whether it's geographical, maybe you used to like to go hiking or skiing or something like that, and maybe it's not the time of year, or maybe you've moved from that area that you used to enjoy that participating in that activity in, or maybe it's a physical limitation, maybe it's an injury that you sustained, or maybe it's just deconditioning, right? So I want you to think about that for a second, and once you have that activity, think about what's actually preventing you from doing so. And if it is a physical limitation, are there any measures that you can take to become conditioned again, perhaps increase your range of motion, or maybe mitigate the pain from an injury that you've had to deal with that prevents you from performing that activity? So maybe it's a sport. Let's say it's playing soccer, for instance, and you have to run. So naturally, a lot of us tend to deal with injuries. I'm actually nursing an injury to my right knee myself right now. So maybe there are measures that can be taken to be able to mitigate the pain from that injury that will allow you to become better conditioned and now be able to perform that activity once more. So one of the most basic movements that we think about here at Brainstorm Fitness and Function First is being able to get up off of the floor. Now, many sports, many physical activities may require you to do so, or even in your day-to-day life, whether you're rolling out of bed or whatever the case might be. Most of us that don't have a pet or don't have young children, we don't even think about being able to get on the floor, much less getting up off the floor. So one of the practices that we often like to do here is doing drills to where we ask our clients to get up off of the ground. So we'll lay some mats on the floor, and you can practice this in your bed, you can do it in your living room, it can be done anywhere. So most folks, when I ask them, when was the last time you got on the floor? Again, depending on if they have a pet, maybe a dog or a cat or a young child, most of them never think about being able to get on the floor to begin with. Now, if we talk about different sports, whether it be basketball, football, maybe track and field, maybe volleyball or whatever the case is, there are many instances where you might actually end up on the floor. So not to mention just our day-to-day lives. You may slip off a curb, you may trip, whatever the case might be. If you work in a somewhat of a hazardous area that has trip hazards or something like that, or maybe even the weather plays a part in those cities that are fortunate enough to have many different seasons. You end up with snow on the ground, or maybe some rain and you slip and fall, you end up on the floor. We can see how all of these factors can play a part in you having to perform that task. Now, one of the drills that we like to do is called a Turkish get-up, right? So it's a pretty simple movement to where you come from the floor and you end up in a standing position. And we like to break things down to make them very progressive. So the first part of the move starts off with you laying on the floor. So it could be as simple as you taking a seat, whether you're in bed, whether you're in your living room, maybe watching TV or whatever the case might be. And then from here, you would go all the way down to your back, and I'm going to give you the first part of the exercise, and I'll demonstrate it from there. And it looks like this.
So you start in a simple position where you're laying on your back. One hand goes up to the sky. You sit to the elbow, and then raise up to the palm, and then extend the hip. Back down, palm, elbow, shoulder, elbow, palm, extend the hip up to the sky, and then reverse that movement.
So that was just one pretty simple exercise that you can apply to your daily life, that you can do at home, that you can do wherever is convenient for you, in a park, outdoors, outside, in your backyard, whatever the case might be. And it's just a real simple move that you can utilize to make you a little bit more mobile and a little bit more independent, and maybe perhaps get you back on that path to doing that activity that you used to love to do so much. So with all of that being said, along with those exercises, we have lots of other tools here that we use at Brainstorm Fitness and Function First that can help you move better, feel better, and just get you back to the activities that you really enjoy doing to make you live a more active, healthy lifestyle. See you all soon.